Tuesday night. It is the second night for our accountability calls with regional consultant Christy Taylor, and I'm interested to see how things went. We had a great day yesterday, so let's see how the pendulum swings today. Christy, are you there?
I am here.
So let me hear all about it. How was your day?
Well, today presented a few more challenges than yesterday, but that's okay. We're going to get back up on the horse and keep on riding. So
before we hit the record button, you said today was craptacular, which I thought was perfect. So, boy, I think we're going to have some coaching opportunities. We got some coaching opportunities on this call. So tell me all about it.
Okay, well, the first call I made today was to Sam. He's the retired financial planner, and he's actually out of town right now. And so he did not outright shut me down. He said, I'll be returning to town next week. I'd like to get together and just see what you're into, and I'd be happy to give you my opinion. But the tone of it was like, I know what you're about to ask me. So I'm just trying to talk myself into not going into this with any preconceived notions, and hopefully he will have an open mind next week when we are able to connect. But so that was a little disheartening. Just his tone was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll be happy to talk with you.
Yeah.
So
that's yeah. I mean, that's the thing about us slightly older folks. We've been, hit up with lots of different things, and usually they're, they're not exactly up to par. But the one good thing, no matter what he says, I personally believe that AMBIT is the best business opportunity for anyone in the country right now. I've done lots and lots of businesses. I'm not saying it's a perfect business model, but it's more perfect than anything I've ever done or ever seen.
Right.
As you know, with my business, it's out earning 2 restaurants, and it cost me, well, we got in when it was $4.29, but it's now $100 to get started to out earn 2 restaurants at $300,000 each. So you've got something pretty darn good. So even though the caution he may have is because he's been pitched, all the other product-based network marketing companies in the past. And bottom line, this is different. He either sees it or he doesn't. And if he doesn't, I don't care. And what do you?
Right.
Because we only need 3 consultants who are going to run with us. There'll be plenty of people who, the thing is, way too many people are busy being right about what they thought about things. And that's very frustrating. They're too, sometimes, they, rather than say, you know what, I was actually wrong about this. I went into a business presentation, sat in the back row, not wanting to be impressed, and I was genuinely impressed. I thought, you know what, I need to shut up. In fact, when we were at Ambition, I was listening to one of the speakers there, and she started to talk, and she sounded very much like another author I'd been I'd listened to and read, and I thought, I'm not going to like what you've got to say. And she started to speak, and I was like, wow, this is, I really underestimated this girl. She is really awesome. And then afterwards at the book signings, the first thing I did was I got in line and went up to talk to her. I said, first thing I've got to do is apologize. I said, because I prejudged, but because I had the open mind, I got all the way through her talk. I now have a whole bunch of new training for both myself and the team that I otherwise would never have had because I'm open-minded. So all you've got to hope for is that the guy's open-minded or not. If he's not, what can you do? If he is, awesome. And if he's smart enough to get it, I mean, he's been a financial planner all this time. I would imagine that he's pretty smart. So, yeah, who cares? The point is, by all means, don't prejudge, but try to go in not caring what he thinks. We don't care.
Right.
If he doesn't do it, I respect that. But if he doesn't do it because he thinks it's just another business, he's just wrong. He's just wrong.
I
it's
agree.
Not in any way devaluing you or the business you're doing. He's just wrong. So, yeah, well, but that's great. I mean, he says, I'll take a look at what you're doing. Again, he may have a tone in his voice. Yeah, it's fine. I did when I went to have a look, and, now I'm an EC. So, let's hope
right.
he sees it the same way. We'll take that. You want an EC in your business? Oh, yes.
I'll take that. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So that was, what was his name?
Sam.
Sam. That's right. Okay. So we've got a tentative yes. So we've got half a gold star there.
Right. And Todd, who is my life insurance guy, because we've known each other for a long time, and again, we aren't close friends, but we've known each other for a really long time, probably 15 years. He kind of saw through that, and so he was like, Christy, if it's working for you, that's fantastic. I do not have enough hours in my day to take a look at this. And I said, I really wish that you would. It may be your thing. It may not be your thing, but I really feel like this is life-changing for some folks. And so he was like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. So he shut me down out of the gate. So, what do you do? They can't take my birthday away. All they can do is say no. No, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this is the thing is if he hasn't got time to look at a 15-minute video, then he needs to find time to look at a 15-minute video.
Right.
Because if he doesn't have time to do that, he doesn't have time for his family. He doesn't have time for anything. But he said no. So no problem. We put him on our drip list. Make sure you friend him on Facebook so he can see you as you fast track to SC and then fast track to EC. And then at some point down the line, he maybe will take a look. A lot of people who've joined this business have said no first time. And, have just been interested to see what's going on. When you bump into him next time, he may say to you, how's that thing going? And you can say, well, I'm senior. I've promoted twice in the business. I've quit my job and, blah, blah, blah. And he may be like, wow, people, that's just the way people are. Some people are just, slower adopters. But as I say, if he hasn't got time for a 15-minute video, he needs a time for a 15-minute video because he's just killing himself. No one should work that hard. But anyway, again, he's busy being right.
Right.
And it's just when people are that close and that friendly, he knows you're not a super successful business person yet. And so, he's, maybe just prejudging a little bit, but that's just the way it is. And we don't care. You know why? Because we only need 3.
There you go.
If we approach this that we need a numbers game and we've got to get everybody, that is stressful when someone says no. But we already said it may not be your thing, and he shut you down straight away, and no problem. It wasn't his thing. So, okay. So what else happened today?
I spoke with Amy. I've got a meeting with Catherine a little bit later this evening. And then I spoke with Amy, who is a colleague at work, and I was in the showroom for just a few moments today and said, hey, I'm running out to an appointment. I really have something I'd love for you to take a look at. I know that your daughter just started college, and I know that is creating a little bit of a strain for you. Things are working well for me in this business. I think you could really be successful in this. And so I actually invited her to the team dinner tomorrow night. So she is hoping to be able to come, but we are going to get together after work tomorrow just for a little bit, and I'm going to present her with a video then. So, cool. Anyway, so she knew that I did not have much time to spare, kind of hooked her, and then we set up a time for tomorrow immediately after work, and then hopefully she'll be able to come to the team dinner with me. She was going to check her schedule tonight.
So is that a third yes, I'll take a look? It is, isn't it? We've got Catherine, Candace, and now Amy. Awesome.
Yes.
We'll take that. And Catherine, you're presenting tonight, right?
Yes.
Look at you go, girl. I love it. All right. Okay, well, that's great. Sam, we've got a tentative yes. Todd was a definite no. Well, what's great about that is he didn't waste any of your time. And I love that.
Right.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
And, you allowed your friendship to be more important than anything else, and that's fine. So that's great. The only problem is that the challenge is that if you'd taken a look, we could at least have asked him to be your customer. But it is what it is. We're not pressuring anybody. That's the whole point about this. When you're in a numbers game business, you have to push and convince. When you're just looking for three who can get three, you don't have to push and convince. We want the people who are praying for something like this, so they run with us and we're not dragging them. So
exactly.
he disqualified himself perfectly, and he's just wrong. And he will regret not doing this in 2 years' time, and you're on EC heading towards NC. This is how it is. We like that, right?
I love your optimism.
Oh, hey, it's not optimism. I know this is happening. I'm telling you, when you speak, if you get a chance to speak to Philip Eckard, he's our national consultant. He was in Excel Communications, fastest company to get to $1 billion before AMBIT was in direct sales, and he was one of the big earners there. And he saw what happened, and he said when he looks at AMBIT Energy, he says it's like I've got a crystal ball. He says because I've seen this movie and I know how it ends. You know, when you watch a movie, you don't know what's going to happen. It's like, oh, you know, I'm nervous. You know, I hope it happens well. I hope she doesn't die. I hope, you know, this blah blah blah. But when you've seen the movie before, you don't care. You relax, right? Because you know what happens. And he says that's how I feel about AMBIT. I know what's going to happen. Except it's not only a good ending; it's 10 times bigger than the ending we had at Excel that created over 2,000 millionaires. So when I'm confident, it's not confidence; it's knowledge. If you just stay with us and keep doing what you're doing, I know you will get there. It's not hopeful or confidence that you're going to do it. No, just don't quit. Keep doing what you're doing, and you get there. The only difference is getting there quickly or slowly, and that just depends on how fast you want to work. I promise you.
Right.
They will be studying AMBIT in Harvard as a business course in 5, 10, 20 years from now because of this business model. And all of those who are saying no to it or who have joined the business and have quit, they are so going to regret it. Because if they only knew how to do it right, it's so simple. And it's kind of immoral that I'm now financially free for something that was 100 times easier than anything I've ever done before. Feels kind of weird, but it's true. It feels like to make a lot of money, it's got to be difficult, right? It feels kind of like that. And so it's kind of weird like this. This is really simple. Just keep doing what you're doing and don't quit and you'll be there. I know you'll be there. Just don't quit. Okay. I'm off my soapbox. You get me every now and again. I get started. I get up on the box, and that's it. I can't get off. All right, lovely. Well, did you want to do a couple more invites tonight?
Sure. I've got one is a couple from church, and she is expecting. She's 5 months pregnant. She's currently a nurse, and would love nothing more than to be able to stay home with her baby girl. They have a kindergartner and also a 7th grader. So anyway, just I'm kind of thinking kind of along the same lines as the invite we did with Amy and Gwen, just kind of go into our success. And, you know, I think this really could be an opportunity for you to be able to stay home with your children and replace a nurse's income. At AMBIT, when Debbie Atkinson was speaking, it was overwhelming to me how these people, she was also a nurse, and so that's immediately why I drew the connection with her and Valerie. But just these people who come from everyday walks of life who are now just, they don't have to worry about anything at all. And so I would love to be able to share that with her. I'm not at that point yet, but I would love to, you know, kind of present her with an opportunity that she would be able to stay home with her children.
And that's how I would invite her. I would be, hey, listen, what was her name?
Valerie.
I would be real excited to see her. You're just leaving church or whatever and say, I found a way where you can stay at home with your daughter. I mean, just be super excited. I've got to show you something I'm doing. I found a way for you to be at home with your daughter. What are you doing Friday lunchtime? I mean, you could really be that excited about it. And, you know, keep it kind of super friendly. You know, and obviously if that's who you are, I mean, so you may, I still think the takeaway probably is useful in there. So, hey, Valerie, listen, I've got to go. Obviously church is finished right now and I've got to go. You know, my husband's waiting for me, but we've got to get together. because I found something that's going to allow you to stay at home with your kids or with your daughter or however you want to say it. I don't know if it's going to be your thing, but it's working so well for my husband and I. What are you doing on Friday? Really nice, really light, really friendly, excited but not too excited. And some of the and I was just thinking about one of your first invite. You know, your wording. I was a little concerned about. You've got to take a look at. You've got to. I kind of. That's a little, for me, a little overzealous. I have something. Because then it adds that very slight bit of pressure there. It's very slight, but it's just, I'm just talking viscerally here. I can feel, oh, that's a little, overexcited. It's a little, so I'll just back off very slightly, 5%. Be excited, but keep more to the script. I'm in a little bit of a hurry right now, but, you know about my husband and I. Well, I know your situation is very similar. I've got something that's really, really working very well for us, and I think it could very well work for you too. So it could work for you. Not you've got to take a look. It could work for you. I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, but it's really working very well for us. What are you doing on Friday?
Okay.
Do you see the difference?
Yes.
It's slight, and I love your enthusiasm, and that's awesome. But there's some language changes. It stops you sounding like a network marketer.
Right.
It's a little Mary Kay. It's a little slightly overexcited. No offense to Mary Kay. Mary Kay is an awesome company. But a Mary Kay girl is like super bubbly and awesome. And we're a little tiny bit more reserved in what we're doing. So I don't want to confuse you by saying that. And hopefully you can understand what I'm saying.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying. Because, and that's the hard part, is communicating. You can't come at it completely from a dispassionate place and just say, hey, I have an opportunity I'd like to present to you, blah, blah, blah. You have to have a little bit of personal spark, and so it's trying to rein that in and communicate that in a way that makes sense to people but doesn't feel weird.
That's exactly right. I think also the word opportunity is a big no-no too. Opportunities, it's a little old-fashioned. It's a little screaming of network marketing, working on a project, working on something. I would lose the word opportunity. It stops it, being a business opportunity. And that's a little overused, I think. And so that might actually, just that word being changed from opportunity to project may take that little edge off it. So maybe something like that might help. But listen back to this recording. I'll put the recording up on tonight. It takes me a little longer to put the recordings up now, but everyone can now listen to them on their phones or on anything. So have a listen back to what we talked about, kind of how I worded it in there, and see if you can kind of get your hands around that. Because I think, you obviously have so much talent with this. If we can really, really fine-tune that wording and the posture, it's really kind of subtle. But it's the difference between too much and not enough and being right there, perfect. Take a listen to that. I think that would really help. So, so with Valerie, that's a real simple one. One more. What else have we got? What else have we got to do?
Deborah is a person that I've known for a while. We've never worked directly together. Our company has been a client of hers. She does software development. And so I know her purely from a professional level. But I feel like she's the kind of person that I think the light bulb would just go on and she would get it. But if I called her and said, hey, let's go to lunch, she would be like, what are you up to? Do you know what I mean? And so I've got to figure out a way to approach her a little bit differently.
You don't have to figure anything out. We've got it. I would do I'm sorry, I got a little bit of a tickle in my throat. I'm sorry, I keep coughing. I would be direct. You know her. You've talked to her before, and you'll know if this feels right or not. But I would give her a call and say, hey, Deborah, I'm meaning to give you a call. This is Christy from, obviously, whatever the name of your company is. and I know this call may feel slightly unusual, but I've been meaning to give you a call because I've always been so impressed with whenever we talk and whenever you're doing dealings with our company, you've always been so good at dealing with us, and you're always so professional. And the reason why I'm calling is my husband and I are working on a project that's really taking off incredibly well in the DFW area. I can work alongside my current business. And forgive me, but I want to be totally direct. I would very much like you to be involved in what I'm doing. Do you keep your options open for making extra money?
Ooh, that's perfect.
Yeah. So
I really like that. Okay.
Yeah, and you see, when it is kind of weird, then anything that's shady is shady. When you don't know someone too well, but if you're like, look, I know we don't know each other very well, but I've always been so impressed with the way you work. My business is growing really well right now. I'm looking for great people. I've always known you to be a great person. I'd love you to get involved with what you're doing. Do you keep your options open for making extra money? That's nice and upfront, and and overcomes that weirdness of calling someone you don't know too well.
Okay.
So again, have a listen back to the recording, and again, listen to the kind of the posture of the whole thing, and then create an invite. Obviously you can be in a hurry. Make sure you're in a hurry. Say, look, I know this is slightly unusual. I'm giving you a call, or this is Christy from such and such. Slightly unusual. I'm giving you this call. I understand that, but I've been meaning to call you all week because my husband and I have been working on a new project that is really taking off very, very well in the DFW area, and we need to find some really, really good people. And I've always been so impressed with your professionalism, genuinely. So I've just got to ask you the question directly. Do you keep your options open for making extra money? Not quitting what you're currently doing, but working alongside what you're currently doing. Again, can you kind of hear the posture in my voice?
It's very different, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of, but it's not forceful. It's not alpha male. It's just, you're just really good. I can't apologize for it. You're just really good at what you do. I've always, thought about you, for being so professional. I need a professional person to help me with my business. Do you keep your options open? This is working really great for us. It's that kind of posturing. What are you doing Friday afternoon? What are you doing, what time do you finish work? I'd love to buy you a coffee. I don't know if it's going to be your thing, and that's perfectly fine. Deborah, let me tell you that up front. Again, a nice emphatic takeaway. I don't know if it's going to be your thing or not, and that's perfectly fine. But I've always been I've been so impressed with your professionalism. I'd love you to take a look, see if it's your thing. So again, I've kind of mentioned lots of little phrases in there. So listen back to the recording, which I'll put up tonight, and then put a nice, succinct, positive. That's a direct invite. That's just like direct. I've got a business project I'm working on. Do you keep your options open for extra money? It's direct.
Okay.
And that overcomes the weirdness. All right. Was there anything else you needed to talk about?
I don't think so. I think that's everything.
Is this enlightening? Is this working for you? Do you like this?
It is because you have ways of thinking of different approaches that I am thinking about kind of along the lines of what you're discussing, but I don't have the verbiage to approach them. And so I like, being able to bounce ideas off of you and just kind of figure out, what is going to work and that sort of thing. So
yeah, trust me, you'll do a couple of yeah, and that's great. I mean, you've only been in the business, a couple of months or whatever. And so it's something that, I've been in the business for 6 years. So it's not that I'm better than you. It's just I've been doing it for longer. And trust me, you use a couple of these invites, get them in your, get the verbiage so it just skips off the tongue, and you'll be brilliant at it, both for yourself, but also for training your team and imparting the same knowledge that I'm passing on to you. So, that's great. And these are really, really good people to be inviting. I love the variety. I don't care about the no's. I love the yeses. And you're doing great. As you got an appointment with Amy tomorrow, you're speaking to Catherine tonight. You've got a tentative with Sam. You've got a definite no with Todd, so he can be purged off the list. That's awesome. So yeah, great. Yeah, that's a gregreat day. I know you said you had what was it, a craptacular day today? I don't think it was. I think it was a perfect day. Great coaching opportunities.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to get this edited and recorded and up on the Facebook page so you can go and have a listen to it maybe when you're driving into work tomorrow, and then we'll be good. And I'll see you tomorrow. Well, I'll see you tomorrow at the dinner. We won't do a.
Okay.
Well, you know what? We may or may not do an accountability call because I'm going to see you tomorrow. And if there's anything that we need to talk about for the people who are listening in, we'll talk about it on Thursday night.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right, my lovely. Thank you so much for calling in, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye now.